Welcome back to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast history, the universe, the world, all the stars. They are aligned today, and I've got my good friend Brian Neal with me today. Hello.
Hi, greetings. Brian Neal here.
We do this every week. We release every Monday. If you have just discovered us and haven't really been with us for a while, you can go to advancedsellingpodcast.com. There's a list of some top episodes there, and I think it even says, there's a little button there that says if you're new to the podcast, check it out. You can see a little bit more about Brian and I. We welcome you back every Monday. We've got great LinkedIn followers. If you are not on our LinkedIn, in our LinkedIn tribe, go to advancedsellingpodcast.com/LinkedIn. That'll take you right there.
Got a lot of those people in there.
We do.
Okay, so this is, I want your opinion on this. This is for, what do they call them? Girl dads. It's a girl dad thing. Travis isn't a girl dad, right? You got a son, right?
Nope.
Sorry. So we're both girl dads. Mm-hmm. Okay, take yourself back, because I know your daughter just got engaged, really great, and you got a couple grandkids with your other daughter, so you got to take yourself back. I was in Costco the other day, and there was a young father in there with two kids, a girl and a boy, and it's the men's bathroom. Okay, mm-hmm. The little girl, the boy must have been 4, the girl 3, and they were really close in age. Mm-hmm. So what was interesting to me, this is the funny part to me, was the son was going for, the dad was a little frazzled. You know how you get with your dad, and you're like, okay, go. Like, Trevor, you go. And da-da-da. She's like, okay, Sophie, you got to go in this other stall to go,
Sure.
you know. And she starts throwing a fit. She goes, I want to go in there. She wanted to pee in the urinal. And she was pissed that her brother got to pee in the urinal. She's
was
screaming.
pissed.
He's like, you go in here. You can't go in there.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're not going. And she's like, he goes, that's it. You're not going to the bathroom. He wouldn't let her go to the bathroom. I was like, dang, dude.
That's a little...
Like, let her pee in the urinal. I don't care. Like, whatever. But anyway, do you think it's okay for kids to come?
This is not going the direction I thought it was
going.
No,
the thing is, do you think...
Is it a urinal question, or is it more of a
I just thought, I didn't know
question?
what to do either. So I'm in there, and I'm like, should I leave? Like, I have to pee
help?
too.
Exactly.
It'd
be creepy.
Do I have to
Here,
go?
I'll take her in
Can
there.
I use the urinal? Is that okay? I don't know. I just thought, and there's obviously an age thing to that, but I'm not sure it's cool these days to bring your daughter into the men's bathroom.
I think it's
kind
still
of the thing.
Yeah, at that
there's an
age it probably
thing.
is.
It's a little.
But when you have 2 of them,
I know.
now
I feel
you've
bad
got
for the
triple
guy.
the problems.
Yeah. Which now I didn't want to be smart alecky here. There is a family bathroom there in most public places. That's what that's for.
Yeah.
Which is why, because I think it puts everyone in a comfortable spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just everyone. So for all you girl dads, I'd love to hear, either in the LinkedIn group, if you're a girl dad, like, I don't know about that one. Like, I think you should go in the family bathroom. But the poor little girl, she was so pissed she couldn't go in the urinal.
Yeah,
I felt bad for her.
and I think it's a bad move on the father's part to say, okay, you're not going at all.
Which that was the funny part to me. He's like, that's it. Wash your hands. It was really, really funny. So.
I did have something funny yesterday. Yeah. With my grandkids are 4 years old, a little over 4, and Sawyer's the girl, Evan the boy, and we were all together in celebrating a birthday. And Sawyer comes up to me, and she never has done this, but comes to me, grabs my hand, she goes, Papa, I got to go to the bathroom. I want you to go with me. So I went in and I said, would you like me to stay or would you like me to leave? Because I turned the light on, and I thought it'd be courteous. She goes, stay. And then she takes out a piece of toilet paper. She goes, here, put this over your nose.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like,
Thanks.
you're going to drop a significant one here, aren't you?
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
But then she didn't. She just did number 1, so it was all good. But
that's right.
It is funny, the whole bathroom drama.
It's a deal. I know. It's not so. Okay, topic today. So I was pondering this on the edge of philosophical, but I think a really good one. So 2 things hit me over, as I mentioned in the pre-show, my crack research on TikTok. Because I think that's where, these days, if you're going to get really good news and information, you would obviously get that on TikTok. Mm-hmm. But I saw a psychologist talking about, in her field of study, a counterintuitive finding that the psychological behavioralists have discovered, and that is that the old school thinking was we have to be motivated intrinsically inside of ourselves, and then that will drive our action. And what their research that she buys into says is that's actually the opposite, that actually action is the thing that drives motive. And then as I thought about that's an interesting thing, and then I'm also like kind of sitting back and looking at just all sorts of performance, and like Tom Brady's whatever he is, 43 or something, he's in great shape, and you look at our podcast and like, okay, what's the common thread there? And the common thread I kept landing on is this the term consistency, which is overused, and I don't think we spend enough time really focusing on how absolutely critical consistent behavior is in selling. And salespeople, I'm generalizing, by nature, tend to be pedal on, pedal off sort of people. They tend to like go and then pull back and go and pull back, and they run in spurts. So I want to talk about A, what do you think about that? And B, if consistency is true, what are some things that our listeners should be consistent at? That's the topic on the table today.
Yeah, that's interesting. The whole, what is the root cause of motivation? Is it behavior, or is it something intrinsic just inside you? I don't know. I mean, for me, like, I don't have to get motivated to come in here every Monday to do the podcast or record. I don't have to get. I enjoy it. I enjoy you. I enjoy the camaraderie. I enjoy having Travis here, and I don't have to think, oh God, I got to muster some discipline up to come here.
Yeah, right.
And so to me, joy is a part of that as well, because I think I'll be better if I'm looking forward to this versus I just do it because it's Monday at 9:00 and I have to be here, and there's no joy in it. So I wonder, I like the consistency argument, but I also wonder what role pleasure or joy has in it that not only causes me to do it, but do it well and come with a full head of steam and heart and all that. So I don't know.
So you think you have to, so let's play it out in the sales game. Let's say easy one is this is a chapter in your book, Same Game, New Rules. By the way, if you're a listener, you don't have Bill's book, you need to get Bill's book. Same Game, New Rules. Is concerted, consistent market behavior, right? And so concerted to me means focused, on purpose, that sort of thing. And consistent means I do it all the time. So are you saying the joy thing? Do I need to find joy in prospecting? Or do you think I can, even if I just know that I have to do it?
Because you like what's at the end of it.
The end, exactly. Yeah. Am I chasing the end or am I chasing the path?
Personally, I think you have to have joy in it, and I think you can. And I think the way we've been taught to prospect, there is less joy in it.
Right.
Hammering out.
Right.
I mean, you still hear sales managers talking about hammering out 100 calls a month.
Yes.
And I was talking with a guy the other day who was with a large Fortune, 1,000 company in North America, and it's remarkable to me that's still the way they train their salespeople.
Yeah.
And these are cold calls. These are not calls that are coming from the web or that there's any kind of interest shown by the prospect. These are cold prospecting calls.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Yep.
And it works to a point, but even the manager says it doesn't work today like it did 10 years ago. So the point is that can we shift our thinking to allow us to let joy seep into the prospecting process just a little bit?
See, I think that's really great to think about, because if you are in the mode where you know that you're tasked with doing a certain level of behavior and that feels like a grind, ask yourself, how can I find joy in this? In the process, not in the outcome. I think that's the trick, is that people need to switch over, don't they? They need to switch over.
Because the old way is, well, you got to put your hand in the meat grinder because you'll enjoy you would enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's not the way that saying goes. When you think of it.
Oh, I love putting my hand in the meat grinder. Yes.
So yeah, I like consistency. I like joy. And so in sales, how does one get one's self to see joy in what can be a thankless behavior, which is cold outreach?
Yes.
And not that we're saying that's the only thing, because I do think that today's concerted market activity versus when the book was written first 10 years ago is different.
Yeah.
You might say, well, today I might not make an hour's worth of cold calls. I may make a half hour's worth of cold calls and a half hour doing LinkedIn invitations or LinkedIn content or something. So it's changed.
Yes, and that to me is the trick. So if you're listening to this, which you are, and you think, okay, I love what Bill's saying, joy, and I know the consistencies there where you're hearing that, what to do. I think you need to pick your path on prospecting. Let's use that as an example, because there are certain prospecting behaviors that people like more than others. I love warm connecting. I love to search for people on LinkedIn and try to find my way warm. It's almost a game to me. I almost get like, I can't stop, So if you told me, and I love doing this when I'm in coaching sessions with my clients and we're doing LinkedIn training, I tell me I have them, and they can be anywhere in the country. Like, okay, give me someone you're trying to get to that you can't get to, and I try. I don't always get there. I really love that. I will never make a cold call ever.
No.
Hate it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't or it doesn't work.
Well, but you're still doing cold outreach, aren't
Absolutely.
you? Or is it introducing? Are you getting introduced sometimes?
I'm trying to get introduced, but even that outreach could be somewhat
Still
cold or
chilling,
lukewarm. Yeah. But it's still, but I love, the point is, you said you don't have to get motivated to come here to record this show, nor do I. We look forward to it. In fact, we had some miscommunication this morning. I said it might be delayed, and I was like longing for you guys, like waiting, like you and your dog sits in the window.
Was that the look in your eyes when we walked in? Was that a look of
guys?
longing?
A little bit panicky, but anyway.
Longing,
we were live on Clubhouse for the first time, and we had 3 people
still
in there.
aren't we?
Yeah, now we've got 1. Hi. But you know what? When we first started the podcast, we didn't have any listeners, did we?
That's
and
true.
now we got thousands. Hi,
Whitney. Hello,
Hi,
Whitney.
She's awesome. So that I think you need to find the path that's the most joyful for you, that you enjoy, that you don't have to get intrinsically motivated to do, because that's an easier path to consistency, because you love to do it. It's kind of commonsensical, but it's so funny how we fight the other direction, right? We like, you got to make the call. Like, there's like pride in grinding. I think that's crazy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There is.
You got to pound the phones, man.
And then I think you're right. At the end of the day, it's nice for me to look to you and say, "Hey, how many cold calls you make today?"
Totally.
I made 150. I got 1 appointment.
Right.
Oh, good. That
exactly.
was
Great.
Well spent.
Did you enjoy the day?
Oh yeah, it brought a lot of joy to me.
Yes.
But so let's think about what would be the thing that would cause you. Let's say you're in a cold outreach position and you're really truly making cold calls on people who aren't expecting nor probably wanting your call.
Yes.
What could you do to spice that up a little bit? Because you can talk yourself in, well, I'm helping people, but at some point you're still making a freaking cold call. So
yes.
What if you had something to give? What if you had something to give during that call?
Yeah.
I've got a client who just started a podcast. Actually, he's a podcast listener too, Steven Rosenthal.
Oh, yeah,
remember
yeah.
Steven? He's in the Insider program.
Yeah,
I say I have a client because we're getting ready to do some work with him.
That's great.
And actually starting tomorrow. And
good.
And one of the things that he is doing with his podcast is he's interviewing his potential clients.
Ah, that's great.
So he's interviewed a lot of people who are experts in the industry, but now he's moving to, he wants to interview clients because he wants them to be spotlighted on his podcast. And guess what? He gets to know them a little bit.
Great.
Well, when he makes the cold call outreach to those potential clients, he's not asking for anything. He's giving an interview. He's giving something that will be valuable to them and they'll enjoy too. So that's just an example. I'm not suggesting you go out and start a podcast just to do that, although that may be the vehicle. The point is that when you're making these calls, do you have something to give them? Is there something of value that they're going to get out and receive out of taking this call? I think if you find what that is, then the call becomes easy.
Yes.
It's because it's a gifting call.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. I also think because the giving kind of made me think of that, and I've got have you read the book The Go-Giver? I've not read it. I have it in my library. I just ran across it this morning, and I didn't read that. I read it, or I listened to books, but I listened to a different one instead. But that concept of what I understand the book is about is just about that. It's about giving more and then not worrying about the outcomes.
Never liked the title of that book.
The Go-Giver.
That's probably why.
Really?
Yeah,
it's kind of clever.
Yeah,
clever title. The Go-Giver.
Maybe that's it. It's too clever for my brain.
It's not as good as Same Game, New Rules, let's be honest.
Wow.
But,
Or The Insider.
That's a great title, actually. I love the title. So the giving idea. So I just did this morning. So I have a friend, a personal friend, but work friend too, and another personal friend, work friend. Our kids kind of play sports together and stuff. And one guy said, hey, there's this opportunity available at this company here in Indianapolis. Do you know anyone there? And I said, actually, I do. I know this other guy. And we all have kids in the same high school, but those two didn't know each other. No.
Yeah.
So I sent them a text this morning together, connecting. They were both so thankful and happy about that. And I didn't even think, so I can consider, I love doing that. It gives me joy. I feel like I help two people out. It's glue, and who knows where it goes. And sometimes you find out later, like, oh my gosh, that connection turned into a job for a guy or a deal or whatever.
And that joy that you feel, to me, carries on through the day, the week, the month.
Absolutely.
So that when you have hard times, it doesn't bother you as much. It's just like, because it's like, well, I brought, you're not consciously saying, well, I brought joy to a guy 3 days ago, but it's in there. It does. It's like fuel.
And see, that's what's hitting me in the head right now as we're recording this, even thinking, is that you're right. There's the wake of doing that behavior carries me through to do more consistent behavior of a similar type. And I think that's the trick. And if you're listening to this, you're probably engaging in outbound type behavior that brings you no joy, which is why it's hard, which is why you don't do it consistently. The switch here today is find the things, and I gave you 2 examples. Bill gave you examples that you find joy in. Like Bill loves doing videos and interviews and stuff like that, I think, right? I mean, you really enjoy it. And so that's his path to, have the guy at the gym come up to him and say, are you Bill Caskey? And I watch your videos, because that's what he does. So your trick here listening today, I think, is to find those paths that bring you joy first, engage in those behaviors, and then watch your consistency take care of itself.
Yeah.
I think that's the real lesson here today on this episode. So,
and sometimes the paths that you pick won't be financially rewarding right away. Like the podcast there was no money in the podcast when we started.
No.
It wasn't for years. And now we have clients and people call us and say, hey, can you come in and work with our team? We've got the Insider program. So sometimes you'll have to do it just to do it because you enjoy doing it.
Yes.
But good things will happen from it.
Yes. And if we think of, and you and I have both started and stopped hundreds of things in the 15 years that we've been doing the podcast, but this brings us so much joy. The consistency is easy. It just takes care of itself. Even when it gets to a point, like you said, there have been times when we did it for a long time and made zero. And we're like, is this worth it? Is this worth it? But it's so fun. Like, you know what? It's certainly not hurting anything. And it's really enjoyable. And I get lifted up every time we record. Okay, that's it. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
We? Thanks, Whit.
See you.
You're awesome. Okay, that's it. I hope you got something out of that. By the way, if you haven't joined the LinkedIn group, go do that. And check our website. Go to our website. Just check it out. It's really nice and pretty, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can find on there, the advancedsellingpodcast.com website.
Yeah, and if you're on Clubhouse, follow both Brian and I, and we'll be doing this again, and we'll do it a little bit better this time for the people who are on Clubhouse. It wasn't quite as good of a listening experience, but as it was for you who are in our audience. And thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers. Bye.